practice field. It really isn't a practice field, it's just an open patch of grass. We were digging out that area for the power upgrade as a part of one of the projects we were doing. And we were going to have to spend a lot of money to redo the parking lot if we were going to keep the parking lot over there. And I can't remember what it was offhand, but we're looking at an extensive price to just redo the parking lot to get it up to what it needed to be. So it was more a combination of all of those things and not just moving the parking lot for safety.
That wraps it up.
You're going to keep better track of the turf fund?
And I would like to kind of clarify that a little bit here. And yeah, it is basic accounting, and you should be able to know where that's at. But when you have a turnover of superintendent and business manager that you had in that 10-year span there, you're bound that something's going to happen. I mean, you had 4 or 5 different business managers and same superintendents. That kind of turnover in management, that's the type of thing that falls through the cracks, especially given what PDE changes the account codes in that time frame as well. It's going to happen. I mean, it is basic accounting. You'll see it on the audit every year. You'll see it's restricted.
Going to be like a line item?
Yeah, you'll see it on the fund balance restricted. Here's where it is. I think we have 80-some thousand in there right now.
Is that the recommendation of our business manager?
Yeah, actually, I can't make that. But technically, that's it committed, not restricted, because that is on a board vote. That's what those funds should be used for. So it's committed.
Good.
And that turf money did go to pay bills. It didn't go in anybody's pocket. It paid bills because we spent all the money. So it was an
That's a
accounting.
whole other subject.
That wraps up. Any other questions?
Okay. All right. Thank you, Aaron. 9.02 is our lease for the replacement of our technology that will be in the budget for next year, has to be in the budget for next year. I think I've talked about this before, but basically we're looking to replace pretty much all of our equipment in K through 8 and some equipment replacement up in the high school in some targeted areas. So, Aaron, I don't know if you want to hit a highlight of this 5-year lease.
It is, well, roughly 23,000. It's 4 years, what I would like to do. 4 years, it would cost about $23,000 in interest. Just under $1 million in total. You have those details in the attachment. This is kind of, we will proceed with closing. And then we'll bring the master documents and so on and so forth at probably the next meeting after the PNC finishes closing.
Yeah, we have to bring this forward now because of timing. I realize we don't have a budget. We should probably do it in a perfect world after the budget, but due to time constraints, we need the approval.
I have a question. I was looking at this. When you said the interest is like 1.5%, that's very reasonable. We're not committed to the 2017 just yet. This is just for 2016, correct?
Correct, and what we were doing is, I got 4 different quotes, and there's one other company that beat it on price, as far as in terms of what you pay in interest. However, they wanted the equipment at the end, and we have a $1 buyout in this, so we felt it was more beneficial to be able to maintain some of that equipment if we wanted to, at a $1 buyout.
Oh, absolutely.
So what we did, the next benefit of going with PNC is they have a master lease where we explain, we have a 2-phase project here. For the second phase, we do plan on going 1-to-1 up at the high school. And that's what you're seeing in there, where it'll be up to $1.2 million. So you're not committing to that, but under the master lease, they're giving us approval to take that amount if we want next year.
Gotcha. Because I'm concerned that we probably will need a little bit more money than 1.2 next year. Like in this first one, it's saying that we are not allowed to have a one-on-one program. The kids can't take these. But it's saying for next year that they could. I personally would like to see us get to the point where we have a one-on-one for 7,000 students. I'm wondering, once we get into next year, can we assign the first years, or can those never go home?
We could make it, I mean, I would have to go back and look, because you're looking 2 years on now. I'd have to look at that. If we wanted to let them take them home, it could impact our insurance policy.
Right.
Is what it really comes down to. And I can't recall exactly.
Yeah, we've taken a look at that. You're talking about the one-to-one where they actually just take it and go home, like a book bag thing?
Yep, yep.
Okay.
And that's allowed in the second
It
phase.
is, but it's not something that we were wanting to go to right away. So I think we have to continue to look at it, if that's something.
So we
the
can
board wants.
certainly consider it for next year.
I think we can, but I think we have to circle the wagons again around why we would want to do that, because there are some obvious risks with that. We were pretty comfortable with our plan to keep them in the building, keep them charged, and you know, we were kind of working around that model of keeping them in the building.
I'll make a quick statement. I think that anything that we spend on print is wasted money, buying books at this point, because it's a computer-based thing. So, and I've always said this, the rich kids have iPhones, they have mini Mac pads, they have everything under the sun. It's the poor kids, which is the better part of 20% of our students in this district, that don't have anything. They're the ones that need to be able to take this home. And I really think when you go look at the other districts in Erie County and such, I think, you know, I'm cool with it for this year, but I'd like to have a plan where we have kids take these home. And, you know, if they lose 10% of them, they lose them, whatever it is. I mean, this is a computer world. You've got to be literate. And I disagree with leaving them there. I think if you're sending a kid home with homework, he should have a device to do it. Just my personal thoughts. And you know, I'm usually up here bitching about spending too much money, but I want to make sure that next year that we absolutely catch up. Because we've cut $500,000 in technology for the past 5 or 6 years, and we've got to catch back up. So this is a good start.
I don't think we can completely go away from print altogether, because some of these same kids don't have access to internet at home. So we have to keep that in mind too, that we have to make sure they have access to get on, and they take it home. We can't say no books, because what if they need a book because they can't have, you know what I mean?
Right.
Some can't say, oh,
Sure. I mean, and some of that stuff will be downloaded and stuff, and you're right, I agree.
Okay, so if there's no other questions, I would just ask for a motion and your approval for the lease.
Motion.
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Donna? All opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you. 9.03 is a YMCA food and fun bus. We were contacted by the YMCA and asked if we would be okay with them setting up a bus at the Bell Valley, out of Bell Valley in the parking lot. We don't have a specific date, and I was going to be okay with just okaying this, but I want to run it through the board and get your approval. They're going to run I believe it's somewhat of a summer program where kids can come and get a meal or two. They are just looking for a venue to park the bus to do it. I don't believe it's a facility use situation where we would charge them. They're trying to provide a nice community service for some kids to eat. I think we're okay.
I like that idea, but what do we know about the people staffing the bus?
Not much
They're going to be on our
yet.
property or on our kids. We should know something about the people staffing that bus. That's my
Okay.
concern.
I can get more information about that, because it's not going to happen for a while. They didn't have a specific date yet. They just said they want to do it in the summer, and they were trying to be proactive, so I can find out more of that. Maybe I'll just bring it back again. I don't know if do I need approval for something like that? Now that I think so. Okay. All right, how about this? Let me find that out. I'll bring it forward to committee of the whole.
Right, and what would be the liability?
I would think the liability would be the same as we have for anybody that comes on our property.
I see they're working with the Second Harvest, which is a fantastic
Yeah.
organization. I would just like to see if we can provide them any utilities they might need, whether they would need electric or water, you know, that we would facilitate them. And I think it's a great thing.
Yeah, I think what they asked in here is if it rained, would we let them come inside? So